مغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very pleasant afternoon to everyone present here today. Alhamdulillah, we have a very big number, and this is very refreshing for me, myself, and I'm sure for everyone present here today as well. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you for being here, for making the trip from wherever you may be. I know some people also they have actually arrived from overseas, so welcome. My name is Arif, and I will be your moderator for today for the second session of Book and Ideas. So today we will be discussing a book by our brother Razi Sapi, also known as Merasilu, and he is a prolific writer, and he has extensive experience in journalism as well, having been a journalist for the New Straits Times, and he attained his bachelor's at the University College London, UCL. He attained a bachelor's in mathematics. So he is no stranger to numbers and no stranger definitely to words. So the book that we are discussing today is a very interesting one. It was published, is it this year? It was published 2024. So it's a very new book in May. And it's published by Crescent News Kuala Lumpur Sendirian Berhad, and the title of this book is Adam alaihi salam and the Origin of Man, Reconciling the Conflict Between Religious and Scientific Narratives. They say that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but this book and its cover, for me, it's very interesting. And if you have the opportunity, I think there are also some copies later on, inshallah. So my duty today is to introduce our speakers and introduce the people here, inshallah, and also our brother Shazani, who is in Sarawak. But I'd like to begin with the recitation of the Quran, which is pertinent to this particular book. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ قال ربك للملائكة إني جائل في الأرض خليفة قالوا وتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك قال إني أعلم ما لا تعلمون صدق الله مولانا العظيم. Remember when your Lord said to the angels, I am going to place a successive human authority on earth, and they asked Allah, will you place in it someone who will spread corruption and shed blood while we glorify your praises and proclaim your holiness? And Allah responded, I know what you do not know. This is Al-Baqarah verse 30. So this is a very pertinent verse for our discussion today. And I have some words for the book in terms of its engagement with comparative anthropology. I find it really interesting on the point of the origin of man. So there were three core arguments that our brother has made, with the first being the time of appearance of Adam alayhi salam, according to the religious narrative, is based on a non-linear biblical time, while the time of appearance of the first Homo sapien is based on a linear geological time. So this is a fundamental difference, non-linear time and linear time. Second, he appealed to the prophetic hadith, which he interprets as supporting the idea of non-linear biblical time. And third, which is the most fundamental, I believe, is the realignment between scriptural and spiritual perspectives with that of science. So if we are looking back at history, we see that this conflict between science and religion has nothing to do with us, with these Muslims or with Islam. It is actually a problem or an issue, if I may say so, that began with Galileo Galilei and his persecution by the church at the time, because he promoted an idea of the heliocentric model of the universe, which was taken from Nicholas Copernicus, who was born in the year 1473 and died in 1543. And there is an argument made in the book as well that Copernicus got the idea of the heliocentric model of the universe from the thinker Nasir ad-Din at-Tusi, coming from Aristarchus of Samos in the 3rd century before Christ, BC. So we see that this problem or this issue between science and religion, again, is not so much from the Islamic perspective, because we've always had, a believer needs to know that science is a means to an end and not an end in itself. And this persecution of Galileo Galilei shows that there was conflict between the church and reason at the time, because the church was trying to promote an idea where it was geocentric rather than heliocentric. And you can read more about this in the book, inshallah. And without further ado, I'd like to invite our brother to say a few words about the book. Mr. Razi Sapi, Bismillah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I think I hope I said, can somebody ask if you can bring on standby, which I can use later to demonstrate my idea of the mathematics that's in the book. Yeah. Can somebody tell, because just now I couldn't find anybody. Kudin. Belum minta tolong Kudin. Minta tolong beritahu somebody, minta tarik whiteboard satu standby. Boleh tak? Whiteboard dengan tu lah. But that I will do later. After my sharing, and then there will be discussions. Actually, should give to Prof. Murad first into the discussion.
Afwan, yes, I think it's better if I introduce Prof. Ahmad Murad American to talk about books and ideas, because this is the second book and idea session since COVID. COVID. Yeah. So Bismillah. New series, new life.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I was just asked to speak a few words on this session. This is a session which is a continuity from the what had been organized by Istac before COVID. Just to remind and also to perhaps indirectly respond to the what's happening now. Istac has always been organizing such forum talks and book reviews and book discussions. In fact, at the time, we owe much to Professor Usman, who has been very active almost every week. When I just joined, I was asked to participate in many book reviews as moderator or as discussant in 2019. So this is, at that time, 2018, 2019, we have many. Generally maybe once in 2 weeks or once a month. And after COVID, we stopped. So I thought that it's good, and we've been discussing to revive the idea of a book review and book discussion as part of Istac's activities, and as part of our intention to discuss books not only written by Istac's staff or students, but other books anywhere in the world. If the author is around, we will invite the author. If not, we will discuss and deliberate on books. So I've termed it as Books and Ideas Forum, whereby it's not only the book as such, it's also a criticism and evaluation, comments about the author, about the conditions of production, about the process of writing the book, how ideas originate and how they move from one domain to another, and finally into the book form. So I thought that this would be beneficial to the public. It is open to the public, and there'll be many more series this year, and subsequently this is the second one. So I hope, thank you, you enjoy our book today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Murad. I would like to also introduce the discussants for today. Next to me, we have Sister Saima Ali, who is a PhD candidate here at Istac-Iium, and she'll be speaking later on, inshallah. And we also have online at the University Unimas, which is our brother who is also a PhD candidate here at Istac-Iium, Mr. Shazani Masri. So we will have the discussion after our brother Razi Sapi, inshallah. Bismillah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, let me first share my screen first, yeah. Where is it? Share screen. Share screen. Where is it? No, I told you. This one.
God
No, not this one.
doesn't allow you to take from that tree because He don't want to stay eternally in heaven.
Okay, wrong screen.
If you want eternal life and stay in heaven forever,
Firefox opening up so many screen. I got confused.
So to cut a long story short,
Screen.
Hawa tempted and then he
Option,
convinced Adam to try it,
Ni Firefox
and
tak
both
termasuk
of
open.
them were sent down.
Okay, it should be this one actually, but I can't find it just now because Firefox open so many screen. Okay, where is it? It should be somewhere here. No, I prepared it and show all windows. Aduh, my. Tak ada Firefox yang open banyak screen. Okay, this one. Okay.
Is there any different view? No, right?
I have to stop this one.
But science.
Yang sini tutup dulu This one tutup. Okay. Sorry for the technical problem. Okay. Configuration error lah macam-macam. Dia dah lari dah. Not this one. It should be this one. Sebab Firefox buka ni. Tak pasal ni. There it is. Okay. Paste view. Let me view in full screen mode. Okay. What I want to show you here are slides from my presentation in 2018 in Istac. At that time, Istac just restarted back after a long hiatus. And the first batch new Istac started in 2017. And our brother, Tunku Ahmad Ridauddin, I think he went out, who started the student society, first student society at that time. Yeah. Invited me to give a talk because of the idea I presented in my 11th book. This is it. Yeah. Okay, let me go straight there. Okay. Now volume, there's so many. Okay, the title of the book, Nabi Adam dan Orang Melayu 60 tahun lalu. Or Prophet Adam and the Malays 6,000 years ago. Reconciling knowledge of creation of mankind based on kitab to that of science. I shall go through very fast, because otherwise this one I take about 1 hour plus actually. Okay, what I want to show you is this idea, regarding Adam. Religious scholars in general agree Prophet Adam came down to earth no more than 10,000 years ago. A noted example is Syed Nakim Alatas said this in his book on nature and justice of man. So to him, if you talk about more than 10,000 years ago, you are a supporter of evolutionism. It's out of the question, it's not Quranic. He said that himself in his book. Whereas science says human-like life forms have existed more than 4 million years ago. More than human beings, Homo sapiens, have existed 209,000 years ago. This is the finding at that time. While there's also DNA studies that show the Malays have existed 60,000 years ago. Okay, I am a Malay traditional activist. Okay, what I'm showing here is just some of the stuff that I presented that. Because why I'm interested in Malay matter at that time, I just want to go through very fast because we have to. What I want to say is, I was very interested in matters regarding Malay, origin of Malays and all that. And because this I can tell you, because the situation in Malaysia is such that there are people who question the legitimacy of the Malays. Yeah, especially because we have Malay rights and then the religion of Islam as federal religion, because they say we are also pendatang, they say. Yeah, as such, we don't have the right. So because there has been a lot of studies to show that Malays are not pendatang, Malays are not migrants. Malays are original populace of this part of the world. And among the study that I found interesting is the one that says Malaysia 60,000 years ago. Okay, let me go very fast. This is the Malay world. I think if you can give a long lecture, I can can tell the Malay world is actually a very big region if you understand what Malays are all about. Okay, this I go very fast. This is about science and all that. Surah Baqarah. Okay. Okay, this is study. In 2011. It started with this Melayu Kelantan 6,000 years ago. But what I want to say is that original Malays have existed 6,000 years ago in this part of the world. They have been always here in this part of the world. Yeah. But the problem is, if the DNA studies show that the Malays have existed 60,000 years ago, how do you reconcile that? How do you reconcile with the fact that most religious scholars say Adam came down to earth no more than 10,000 years ago? How do you reconcile that? Who are the Malays coming from? And that's actually the problem that I'm trying to fix with this book. So I will run through and I'm just showing you all the ideas my first initial where is it somewhere? There's a mathematics. Okay, my initial calculation 2013. In fact, I cannot explain it right now. It will take time. I'm just going through this very fast. You know, so all this thing about say Melayu bukan pendatang. It was a long polemic at the time. Okay, and so basically that's where I came from. You know, to answer this question and to participate in this polemic about the Malayness, original the Malays. Okay, and then okay, let's go on. There's so many ideas here. This is about if you heard of the concept of Sundaland. Okay, tens of thousands years ago, the water level of the whole world was about more than 100 meters lower than it is before, because at that time it was the ice age. Okay, most body of water are concentrated to the northern and southern hemisphere as ice. Okay, so the middle, the equator is temperate, and that includes this part, the Sundaland. So at that time, the Straits of Malacca, the South China Sea are all land. This was a big piece, twice the size of India now, and that's where the Malays came from. But then there were rapid sea rise because of changing temperature. 3 stages, some people say, and it leads to the current geography of this is the Malay world. And then some people got dispersed all over up to even was it this island near South America where you have the big heads. What do you call it? It's not Galapagos, is it? Galapagos, yes. Even the Hawaiians, if studied in terms of ethnicity, the Hawaiians are actually a stock of the Malays. The Hawaiians, the Samoans, yeah, Fijians. Okay, that's not the talk I'm going about. Actually, I want to press the end by press it. Okay, so this is end, and I will go straight to the book now. Let me stop share first to get out of the screen. I have to go here first. Okay, this I'm going to show the content of the book. Now I have to share screen again. I have to go here. Zoom meeting, where is it? Share screen. Okay, I have to find the screen back. I don't know why I click Firefox. It is here. Okay, this is actually the content of the book. Yeah, I'll go into full screen first. View. Where's view? Full screen mode. Okay, this is the content of the book. Okay, the book is from thesis. The thesis came from the idea from the previous book, which I wish to make more academic. I took a different approach here. Yeah, in answer the question. The big idea is I want to show that Prophet Adam and the first Homo sapiens are actually the same. So basically, in this book, I brought up arguments to that. Okay, I shall. You can't see it anyway. It's so small. But I'll just go into some other summation of the idea, because there's so many chapters here. And just is from the book. I want to show this part. Yeah, there's okay. I think I can. How do I zoom there? Okay. Now, okay. This is basically the idea. Narratives. I start with narrative of the origin of man in number of myths and religions. Because this is to show that all narrative, if studied close enough, could lead to the single narrative as subscribed in Abrahamic religions. Abrahamic religions meaning Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Yeah, that the first man was Prophet Adam, and he was miraculously created by God out of clay. From a part of him was created the first female, his wife Eve. From the couple was issued the rest of mankind. Okay, but advances and discoveries in science in the West, especially in the period of the European Renaissance and Enlightenment, led to the religious narrative being questioned. This is touched in my book. Yeah, this is I'm going to some sort of what do you call it? Summary. Oh no, where is it? Dia dah lari dah. Okay, that's it. Oh no, I pressed the wrong button. This is problematic actually. I have to go. How do you kena kecilkan balik? Okay. I'm sorry about that. The screen I was showing you just disappeared. I pressed the wrong button. Okay. Shut. What you are seeing is still the content of the book, yeah? Okay, because I want to get back to some sort of summary just now. Okay, so but advances, yeah. This is the part I start back here from here. Full screen view. Full screen mode. Okay. Up. Okay. So, okay. So advances. It was advances in science in the West that led to the religious narrative being questioned. Because before, before this, even all universities, Oxford, Cambridge, and all, they were set up. Those are mostly priest class, The idea of university in Europe at that time was to prove the content of the Bible. But something happened along the way, and they become separate. Okay. Soon the narrative was practically thrown out as superstitious belief. Man is claimed to have emerged out of natural causes in an universe that is godless. So far, okay, yeah? Now you get the idea. I'm trying to. Okay, and then this necessitates elaboration of the set advances. I put in the book. That means this necessitates the elaboration of the set advances and discoveries amid changing mindsets. The elaboration allows what is now hailed as a single time-per narrative on the emergence of mankind based on evolutionism to be deconstructed so the elements which could be agreement with religious belief could be identified and separated from the inexcusable. You know why I said this? Because it seems that evolutionism is accepted as the truth in science. So I have to deconstruct the idea. I have to, in my book, I show how the idea came into being, what developments of science that led to the idea being accepted. And I have to deconstruct and get back, and only then I can comment on it. So synthesis is then offered such that the first man, according to religion, who is Prophet Adam, could be equated with the first modern man in science, the Homo sapiens. The house will be elaborated before this is concluded. This is inside the thesis. Okay, I think I can go down. Literature review. I just want to show you. That's my second chapter. I don't want to go. There's so many issues actually. But I want to, okay. Chapter 2, Myths and Religious Narratives on the Origin of Man. I won't elaborate here what are the contents, but I just want to show you an overview. Creation and mankind in myths and all that, I started with the Sumerian perspective. Sumerian perspective on the origin of man and the universe. And then I went on to Babylonian perspective. Because these are the earliest known written civilizations. On from there, I move on to Egyptian account. And then Greek account. From Greek account, Buddhist account. This can represent the Malay land. The Buddhists has their own account of the universe and origin of man. And then I went to Christian and mankind, world religions, Hindu account, Buddhist account, Jewish account, Christian account, and finally, origin of man and the universe in Islamic account. Then I make comparisons. My argument is this, because the Quran said that every people will send their own messengers. That means, actually, every religion, every belief system originated from some prophet somewhere, but somewhere along the way it got corrupted. But if you study close enough, you will find at the end of the day, the Adamic narrative. That is my argument. And it is this Adamic narrative that I will compare to science. Okay, so okay. Why Adam came? Okay. Why Adam is said to have come down to earth less than 10,000 years ago? Because this is an important argument. Actually, it's about genealogy. If you look at this, Salasilah Nabi Rasul, basically there's so much, how many generations? You can tie from say Noah to Adam. So there is a limit of years. You know, some people say maybe we haven't found enough name to match the scientific claim of mankind has existed more than 200,000 years ago. But no, there's only, if you find in terms of religious literature, there's so much name only you can find. There is a limit to how many years you can stretch. There is a limit. It can never reach 200,000. At best, it can reach probably 20,000 at best. So, okay. Chapter 3, Scientific Narrative on the Origin of Man. I started with the popular scientific narrative. I started with the idea even on scientific. Okay, this I jump first. I just go straight to what's in science. Okay, basically what happened in science is you start with what happened, science in the modern Europe and the West. Yeah, the age of alignment, what happened during that time that led to the current ideas. Here I have to go very fast. How many minutes I have? 5 more minutes. Okay. I don't have much time, but I want to show the ideas. Yeah. It takes a long time to actually explain, but I want to show this is all the real content of the book. This is the things I touch. If you heard about the idea of catastrophism, uniformism, this is in geology. Yeah, I put this is a multidisciplinary study. So evolution as a source for the history of life. This is as the theory comes out in 1859 by Charles Darwin, and then I touch on. Okay, when was the claim made that man came from the apes and all that? And then, okay, I'm not in a very comfortable position actually, but I have to. Okay, on to, okay, this is, do you know that even in the European world, in the 16th century, there's a priest who counted that says the world was created in 404 BC because of their method of counting based on genealogy from the Bible. And that was a belief for a long time until they opened up the idea that no, it must take a longer time, and so on. These are all touched in my book. Okay. I have to go very fast here. Critics against Darwin. Okay, I touch a lot of factors here. But at the end of the day, I want to say this. Because I want to say that science counted human being, Homo sapiens, as having existed more than 2,000 years ago is based on radiometric dating. You know, that means they did the bones and all that, right? And they came across that conclusion. Whereas religion is based on genealogy. Like basically you know Christ is said to have been born 2,000 years ago, 0 BC, of course. And then I think it's common knowledge you can find everywhere. Moses is about 1,500 years earlier. Prophet Adam is about 2,000. That's quite well known, you know. But then up to Noah and all that, okay, it's a bit shaky in there, but there are some popular opinions. And the best figure I arrived is, across my reading, is Prophet Adam came down to earth 5872 BC before Christ. So how do you reconcile that? This is my argument, is that science based the idea of time that one day during our time, one day during the time of Prophet Adam, one day during the time of the dinosaurs, is the same length, one day, same duration. My argument based on Sufi sources, but I put also a hadith, no, time is getting shorter. It used to be longer. And because of that, there is a way for me to push that, to pull that 200,000 years within a framework of linear versus nonlinear time, which I will demonstrate on whiteboard later. So I will get to this. Just show a bit of. Actually, I purposely do that so you can see that there's quite a content in the book instead of just having. And then I have problem with my what's the software for making slides. My PowerPoint is has problem here. Okay. Okay. This is the idea, yeah? I use a curve to present non-linear time versus linear time. I will draw it later and demonstrate how the idea works. I would like to end this. Okay, this is a bit of mathematics and all that. It's actually college level mathematics. Don't worry about it. It's not too high mathematics. It's a concept matter. Okay. And this is the table that I draw based on that. Okay. From sources. Okay. Adam, not really born, came down to earth. Minus 5872, which is 5872 BC, before Christ. Okay. But that could be equivalent to 209,000 years ago when counted in linear time. And there are these repercussions, of course. And this actually has repercussion on world history, which I don't have time to explain right now. So now I give it to the discussion. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Brother Razi, for the presentation. And we would like to move on to our discussant, our first discussant, Sister Saima Ali. The floor is yours for 10 to 15 minutes, inshallah.
Are you going to appear on Zoom? Yeah, I think I have to stop sharing, yeah? Because you still have to show your face. Okay. I don't know how it goes on screen.
Okay, I think so. I can use my camera as well.
Okay, this one.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's really enthusiastic author's review for his book. And everyone, if someone authors are here, they definitely shows this kind of enthusiasm. Might be I will be in future. Inshallah. Is this? Okay. So here, Brother Razi gave me his book for the for review and for study. That time I didn't realize that how much tough this book going to me, because I'm not mathematician. I'm a purely artistic person, and maths is really tough for that kind of persons. So it took hard time for me. But thank you so much that I have that time. So, hello everyone. Here you're looking for this book I have, and this book already shows that every page shows that it was in my hands for a few days, because it's a colorful book now. So the author is looking in the book, he tackles the age-old debates between religion and the science, especially when it comes human origins. The Brother Razi on this book, Adam and the Origin of the Man, it's must-read book. It's really, I recommend it after read it. In this book, Brother Razi takes on a pretty ambitious task, trying to bridge the gap between religious beliefs, particularly within Islam, and modern scientific views on where we all came from. He starts by revisiting on his own master's thesis, and then he tried to end the book shape, and he didn't edit anything according to him. He didn't edit anything, and as it is, this is the master's thesis. And if it's a master's thesis, it's really, you revise it a little bit. A little bit. If it's a master thesis, and I am really wondering what would be his PhD thesis. So in this book, Brother Razi is really trying to specifically focusing on the Malay history, and also some of the challenges they might be faces in the Malay history, and then challenges the conventional idea to Malays come from the southern China. Instead, he presents evidences suggesting this that way we've been around for 60,000 years more. So this is really a news for me, the breaking news, kind of, because I've learned from the media, so that kind of words I am using. The big question is that can religion and science agree? Okay, author dives into the Quranic narrative of Prophet Adam alayhi salam, who is traditionally seen as the first human arriving on the earth around 10,000 years ago. But here is the kicker. Here is the kicker that mainstream science tells us that human-like beings have been walking around for millions of years, and that Homo sapiens showed up to about 200,000 to 300,000 years ago. So how do we reconcile these two views? So there were Brother Razi, the idea of nonlinear time comes in, and he suggests that time might not have always moved at the same pace, opening up possibilities for aligning the religious timelines with scientific findings. This is where book really shines, and offering innovative ways to think about the age-old questions. But what is the personal touch from this? One thing that makes this book stand out is author's personal experience, because his personal journey that he shares in that book, how simple calculation back in 2013 in your book, according to, sparked his curiosity about the origin of the human, especially in his own cultural context in Malaysia. His passion for the topic is infectious and makes you want to explore these questions with him. And the Malay Muslim perspective as well. This book also touches on the challenges faced by the Malay Muslim scholars and scientists who struggle to reconcile their religious beliefs with their scientific work. Brother Razi does a great job highlighting this struggle, showing that it's not just about science versus religion, but about finding a way for the different contexts and their coexistence. And this coexistence must be meaningful. When I was reading this book, I remember one of the Istac-Iium press club from the press that 2019, there was a book of Islamization of Modern Science and Philosophy by Muhammad Imtiaz Ali. And this book takes a deep dive into the limitations of Western science as well. And Ali argues that Western science, while great at observing and experiencing, falls short when it comes to answering the big questions about reality, God, and the meaning of life. He believes that we need more holistic approach, one that blends scientific inquiry with knowledge from religious revelation. Although now, Ali doesn't focus as much as human origin, but he focused and Brother Ravi's work, but both authors are on the same page when it comes to the challenges of bringing together religious and scientific views. So they just approach it differently. Brother Razi zip up in on the specific question of where humans come from, trying to reconcile religious stories with scientific evidence of the other hand. Ali steps back into the critique to overall philosophy of Western science and struggling that it needs to be integrated with spiritual wisdom of for more complete understanding. So while they share similar concerns, their methods and focus point are pretty different. And especially I will talk about that it's really, here is some questions. And if Brother Razi allow me, I will ask being a reader, but one thing which I want to share, that because he is also criticizing and somewhere he is evaluating that Darwin's theory. And after publishing the origin of the species, Charles Darwin became a global scientific icon. His work sparking widespread debate and interest. So here is a poem which I really like. And I like that Brother Razi not only focusing on the scientific methodology, but also having an artistic approach. So, and the this poem, I want to share, it's a long poem, but I want to share a few verses. Am I stare or man? It's the poem name is Gorilla. So it's on 135 page on this book. It's a long poem, but only one stanza. Am I a stare? Am I stare or man? Pray tell me who can. And settle my place in the scale. A man is Arab's shape, and anthropoid ape, or monkey deprived of his tail. So this poem is a too long poem, but only I share one. Especially I like this one. There are so many things which I like the most, but this one I want to share. This poem actually reflective of the era of mix of fantasizism and skepticism, and highlights the public confusion and controversy surrounding Darwin's theory and Darwin's ideas that time. So this atmosphere of debate was further fueled by the ongoing disputes between Darwin's supporters and the critics, illustrating that the continuously and harmonious responses to evolutionary theory in 19th century. And Brother Razi developed it really well and use it. And also the work from the different authors from the globe, around the globe, I especially admire that whatever I'm thinking that this scholar must be in, that was in. I am really choosing the name from Dr. Israr from Pakistan, Iqbal from the Allama Muhammad Iqbal, and even Dr. Zakir Naik. And he really put their work very well. So, because I have a short of time, how long I have? Okay. It's worth nothing that Professor Usman Bakar's views, which I read, especially in the first. I didn't read your views first. I read Professor Usman Bakar's view. So it's worth nothing that the book has received praise from some heavyweight like Professor Usman Bakar's, who commends Brother Razi for his innovative approach. However, Prof. Bakar also points out that there is a still room for more exploration, especially when dealing with such complex issues. Actually these views are also a kicker for me that I should read this book completely. So why we should read this book? Why? If you are interested into the ongoing debate about the evolution and creation and where humans fit into the grand scheme of the things, this book is for you. And Brother Razi offered a balanced perspective, making complex ideas accessible without dumbing them down. He respects both sides of the arguments, which is refreshing in the discussion and often become polarized. But I like to share some highlights from my side. Now, this book comprehensively religious overview. Having the book offers a detailed exploration of creation narratives across various religion and the ancient civilization as well. And second thing, in-depth analysis, the focus on specific religious perspectives, such as the Islamic account, provides a nuanced understanding of different viewpoints. And third, comparative approach. By contrasting different creation of myths, the book offers a broader framework for understanding human origins. And being a reader, it's my responsibility to share a truthfulness with my feedback. So, with apologies, I'm sharing the gap. While the book offers a comprehensive overview of major world religions, it could benefits from a more expensive exploration of cultural and societal factors shaping creation narratives. But this includes incorporating a broader range of indigenous and cultural perspectives, as well as examining how gender roles, power dynamics, and societal influences have impacted on the development and the transmission of the myths. So here is a question for the author. Given the diverse and the often conflicting narratives about human origins, what criteria did you use to evaluate the credibility and reliability of different sources? The first one. And the second, how does your analysis of ancient myths, especially I'm focusing myths and religious texts, inform our understanding of contemporary debates about creation and evolution? And the third question, you have a lot of time to take the answer. How do you address the challenges of reconciling the often metaphorical or symbolic language found in the religious texts with scientific explanation of the natural world? So this is only the questions because I'm a reader and I'm a big grassroots leader. Okay. Final thoughts from my side. In short, at this book, I will show again, and Adam alayhi salam and the origin of the man as an eye opener. Because whether you come from a religious background or the scientific background, you will find something here that challenge your thoughts, that challenge your thinking process. And Brother Razi's work is valuable, really, that it's contributing to the broader discussion on how we understand human origins, and it's definitely, and this book is definitely worth adding to your reading in future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sister Saima, for your thoughts on the book by Brother Razi. Without further ado, we would like to invite our second discussant, Brother Shazani, who is currently in Sarawak. Tafadhal.
Assalamualaikum and Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you for the organizer and also Tuan Razi for giving me the opportunity to discuss this book. First, I think I'll just go straight to my question based on what have been discussed so far, and then I go to my prepared text about the book. I want to question the how the construct of the book is made. I think while the book has a number of chapters that address religion, myth, and also specific history about evolutions in tandem, I think it is far short in terms of describing the history of science itself. Really, the beginning of modern science, as we understand it, is the product of 20th century at large. And then, as we know, Darwin on the evolutionary biology, and also how it evolved with respect to the history of science, especially history of ideas about science, especially how it arrives in the Malay archipelago. So in other words, we need to also look back at our own history of ideas as an understanding towards how we perceive the question about Adam origin and all its mythos and also religious prescription, and our history of colonial knowledge or post-colonial knowledge in that sense. I would also like to point out there are also a number of discussions already. One is, of course, a very big scholar and a number of writing by Prof. Osman Bakar, and then his reflection against Pervez Hudhoy. Both are Muslim scholars, but taking two different views on this. And another, not too long ago, is also Osman Bakar and Alan Lightman in a MPS, Malaysia Philosophical Society's talk that could also lead to the discussion about connection of the epistemology. And also, Ahmad Murad Marikan has also published quite recently on contesting the Western canon. Although it is focused on journalism, it also could also serve to look into the epistemology of evolutionary biology, and also the question of the metaphysics of existence and time in our landscape, timescape in the Malay archipelago. Okay, so another is the question of time. I think what Tuan Razi is doing is he is trying to locate two dimension, a double. It's sort of like the equilibrium between the modern scientific narrative of Homo sapiens and also the sapiential Adamic narrative, and as a way to harmonize the idea that Adam and Homo sapiens is one and the same being. However, I would like to point out that even the notion of time also evolves. So I would argue at present that we are in the post-secular world, at least according to Western epistemologies, wherefore the notion of time and also space has somehow disrupted. Therefore, the religious discussion re-enters the public sphere of science, if you wish, in this manner. So let's say when we look at the evolution of the idea in the 20th century, it was a different discourse than what we have now. Then I would like to go back into what I've assessed about Tuan Razi. I think what I like most is the book is very readable. For one who has no real background or no deep background in mathematics, biology, and religious studies, it is a very fluid and very friendly to the general reader, so to speak. And then it is also an opener for those who are interested in theological, philosophical discussion and debate surrounding the discrepancies between the religious narrative, which place Adam as the first human created by God, and the scientific narrative, which suggests that humans evolved from earlier life forms over a million of years, according to current scientific understanding. So now, if that intersection exists, something must harmonize between aspects of human biology on the one hand and the sapiential qualities vis-a-vis wisdom and intellect on the other, that rendered historical Adam as the first Homo sapiens. And if we are to follow the scientific chronology and genealogy of mankind based on theory of evolutions, Homo sapiens are latecomers and rather less physically strong and fit compared to his more quote-unquote ape-like ancestor cousins, the Neanderthals and Homo erectus, for instance. Adam, while having its near match but not exclusive to Eve, the female counterpart, who later became his companion and the other partner. I think Sister Saima addressed also the question of gender and sex, sexual roles in this. Okay, exists in at least two differentiated time paradigms. So Adam, if we follow the Christian narrative, exists before fall and after fall, according to biblical timeline. So in the Quran, we also have that. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ. So the idea of this primal archetypal Adam exists within this realm before time, if you want to put it that way. And then Adam, in an Islamic conception, is also a prophetic and male archetype, and the first wise man to repent. So various conceptions of this archetype, namely wise man, enlightened man, perfect man, are visible throughout history and prehistory, until modern times, where the latter Homo sapiens and whatnot, and its variants seem to dominate. Then we have the discourse on, let's say, post-Homo sapiens, Homo economicus, for instance, and Homo Deus, as proposed by those engaged in this new history of mankind. So the idea of trying to recreate or reconceptualize this idea of this Homo sapiens, the wise man, is there. There I see that how to place this within the context of discussion about time. Because Saudara Razi is putting a mathematical function to address the issue. Thus, I think the book attempt in a way to relate between this Adamic and Homo sapiential paradigm of the material, biological, and transcendental. In other words, the above and below conception of being human, whose existence could be both viewed as cyclical and linear, depending on timeline and cosmological and cosmogonic perspectives that pivot between religion and modern science. So to an extent, this book opens a horizon of communicate between religious and scientific, especially pertaining the origin story of Adam, both as the intellectual man and developed biological form in the domain of Islamic thought and civilization. It is a big task, and the author provides a potential solution. I will go to that later. So now I will go to that now. So in chapter 5 of the book, author introduces this approach. The key idea is based on the concept of linear versus nonlinear time. I would say maybe a cyclical idea of time, as I understand it. So linear time, this is the conventional way of measuring time, where each day is of the same length, where conventional means today as we understand it. Science generally uses this model to that event, such as the age of Earth and the appearance of Homo sapiens, and also radiometric dating. And then the non-linear time, where the author supposed that in ancient times, the length of day might not have been used in the same day as today. The idea is inspired by hadith that the day becomes shorter as we approach the end of the world. So this could help to reconcile a scientific timeline. But I would like to raise the issue here is that when we talk about the idea of non-linear time, there are also a big Hindu discussions in other corpus. Say, for instance, the Hindu yugas. You know, we are in the period of Kali yugas, for instance, the Iron Age. There are perhaps a different paradigm. And also, we need to also look into the even within Islam, you know, time may be not conceptualized as linear as looking at the Babylonian concept. I also addressed in the paper mathematically 1 base 60, for instance. So let's say the Sharia time based on when the Prophet was sent, the messenger. So the time during Nabi Musa was definitely different than time during Nabi Muhammad. And all metaphysical and physical reality that may manifest on both respective paradigms. And then with respect to the mathematical equation, you saw it earlier in the presentation. What I find the strength of it is an innovative approach. The idea that non-linear time is a novel approach that attempts to reconcile conflicting timeline, providing a fresh perspective that challenges conventional linear time assumptions. And also it provides a certain theological compatibility, at least for Muslims. This is, I think, what Brother Razi is trying hard to maintain as primary thesis in his book. The concept is grounded on Islamic hadith tradition, making it appealing to those who seek to reconcile religious belief with scientific findings. However, there are problems. Number one, there is a lack of empirical evidence. The concept of nonlinear time is not supported by empirical evidence, at least if we want to convince the scientific community today. The scientific community relies on linear time, which is consistently supported by observations and measurements, and also complexity and acceptance. The proposed mathematical solutions might be difficult for both religious scholars and scientists to accept because it requires a significant shift in thinking about time and history. Now, if you want to look and also at subjectivity, the choices of variables and parameters in the equation could be seen as arbitrary, leading to questions about the validity and objectivity of the results. Now, I offer the preliminary counter solution based on the Ferdinand de Jong's entanglement of sacred and secular concept in his recently published book entitled The Future of Religious Heritage entangled temporalities of the sacred and the secular. Because I see this is the problem of entanglement of two big epistemologies surrounding evolutionary biology and the question of origin of the sapiential Adam. De Jong approach emphasized the entanglement of the sacred and secular, suggesting that the two realms are not distinct and separate, but rather intertwined. This perspective challenges the notion of trying to reconcile the two, adjusting one to fit the other, as in the proposed mathematical solution. So I would focus on one, integrative narrative approach, instead of attempting to force the scientific timeline to fit the religious narrative or vice versa. So Adam, for instance, could be understood as the sacred narrative that holds spiritual truth and significance, while scientific narrative of human evolution can be seen as a secular explanation of biological development. Even so, they speak entirely on different paradigms. I will go to that later, which also my reservation to this potential counter solution. And then number two, focus on symbolic interpretation. So Sister Saima also talked about this earlier. Rather than focusing on the historical and chronological accuracy of religious texts, this approach could emphasize the symbolic and theological meanings behind these narratives. Adam could be seen as a symbol of humanity's relationship with the divine, rather than a historical figure vis-a-vis a historical biological figure whose life must be dated precisely in time. So that way we can move away to the modern debate about the pride of being the historical first and the grand project to document materiality, everything about human, such as done by Human Genome Project to restore some balance in present existential dichotomy dominated by homo scientific parlances that color even the cosmogonic aspect of being human. Thus, sitting on the creativity of the mathematical solution that Tuan Razis offer, a pluralistic approach that values different contributions without requirement of axiomatic conformity could further the cause of this attempt at conciliation, if that is what the post-secular world needs to justify and qualify a notion of existence and experience. To my mind, there is no peaceable conclusion to reconcile the conflict between religious and modern scientific narratives. At best, if reconciliation is necessary and meaningful, one way to do it is to propose the religious and scientific narratives are entangled, and we are ought to let more of the religious enter the intellectual sphere again, because of re-entry of religion in public sphere based on our current post-secular context. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Shazani, for your very in-depth take on Brother Aziz's book. I've learned a lot from your description of things as well. Alhamdulillah. So now Brother Aziz would respond to the questions posed by Sister Saima and Brother Shazani. Bismillah.
All right. Just some technicalities. Okay, I wish to respond to the discussants first. First of all, yeah, regarding the poem, yeah, I think I want to show everybody what the poem is all about. But I have to, okay, check it out from here first. Where is my, okay. So I want to show the poem that she mentioned, yeah. It is actually from a magazine in London dated 1863. How shall I share this? Zoom back a thing. Share screen. Okay. Okay, you can see that. I want to show full screen. I think I always have some problem with technicalities. Full screen mode. Okay, can you see that? Okay, I'll expand. This is a poem that she's talking about. It appears in a magazine called The Punch. This is dated May 18, 1861. So this actually can encapsulate the response to Darwinism. This is, you know, the book, the Origin of Species by Darwin came out in 1859. This is just about 2 years later. So, Monkeyana, there. Am I a man and a brother? So, this is interesting, yeah? And when I settle a man who tell me who can, and settle my place in scale. A man in X-shapes and or a monkey to pick up still. Okay, I will read all of it, but just from this poem alone, there's such a lot of polemic regarding this. And just 2 years, imagine a lot of polemic in just over 2 years since Origin of the Species came out. What more up to modern day? Yeah? Okay. And then next, how do I handle these different religious views and all that? Because I have to the Tawhidic point of view. You know, that is my anchor. I travel, I went to temples and all that as I like to study and look at things. But everywhere I go, I'm anchored by the Tawhidic principle. And the belief that everything, not just belief, conviction, everything comes from God. So every knowledge comes from God. So although the knowledge has become straight or anything, but I believe if I can go deeper, I will find that. Because I believe everything came from God. And then regarding religions, I said that in the Quran it is said every nation, every people have their own messenger. Because God is fair. God wouldn't punish you if he doesn't send you a messenger. And if you got astray, how can it be? God is very fair. If you don't know the path, you got astray, how can he punish you when he doesn't send you a messenger? So that is my anchor. And that's how I go into this. Okay, and in response to Brother Shazani, when he said that I should have gone deeper into source of knowledge, I did. Since I started from Greek time. I started from Plato and Socrates. Not only that, I mentioned Pythagoras even earlier. And I mentioned that Pythagoras and all that they actually got their knowledge from Egypt. I went on from there and then on to Hellenistic during the time of after the conquest of Alexander the Great. I mentioned it in my original writing. And then, but because of limited scope, Osman took it out. I did. I start from the Greeks and all that. So in my finished product, we started from the Renaissance. The Renaissance, which is only probably about 12th, 13th centuries. But actually, I started from the Greek and all that. And then from there, how he got into the Islamic world. Baitul Hikmah, I mentioned it. I mentioned how this the movement, the translation of the books from Alexandria and all that. I did mention it, but because I cannot touch everything in the thesis, but I did that in my original writing. Okay, I think I'm ready to respond to other questions and answers.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Razi. It means that, you know, the things that have been omitted from this text could be a PhD, yeah? Inshallah. Okay, open. All right, so now is the time for us to open up the floor for any comments, questions, considerations, deliberations, and what have you. So without further ado, any questions, comments? We'll start with Brother John and then Dr. Farouk Musa. Brother John, floor is yours.
Hi, Brother Razi. I agree with what you said just now, Arif. You cannot judge a book by its cover. but you can definitely judge a book by its content and its writing style. And I would say it's very fluent and very well crafted. So kudos to you, Brother Razi. So on page 195, you mentioned Adamic exceptionalism, which means that non-humans are the product of evolution, and non-humans are the product of evolution, and humans are the product of evolution, but Adam is not a product of evolution. Was that coined by you, or what is your stance on that? And my second question is, on page 233, you mentioned that Muslims are generally divided into 4 camps on the issue of Adam's origin. Which camp do you personally belong in? So those are my 2 questions, and yeah, thank you, Brother Razi.
Thank you, Brother John, for a very, I think, deep questions, this one. But before we move to the answer, Dr. Musa, please.
I think better because before I lost track.
Okay, so
Okay, you mentioned about Adam exclamation X.
Adamic exceptionalism. It was written in your book. It was from your book. I'm just using that.
I don't coin the word.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is actually taken from a book which came out in 2021,
Okay.
and it was from a thesis by Sohaib Abdul Malik.
Right.
Okay. And so he did this study on, he said that he's using the Ghazalian framework. That means based on his reading of Ghazali's classification of knowledge and all that, right? So he decides, okay, is evolution acceptable?
Right.
If Ghazali was present, according to his thought, is it acceptable?
Right.
So he came to the conclusion that it is acceptable only to a certain stage. Yeah, that means you can, according to him, if we were to use the epistemology of Al-Ghazali, evolution for animals is accepted. Also, evolution for men, but not Homo sapiens. That means the other Homo erectus, Homo neanderthal accepted according to him.
But not for our human
Yeah,
species
because
lah.
the Quran clearly stated in such a way that you shouldn't interpret it in another way. It is a literal interpretation. It is created miraculously.
Right.
Not,
I remember that in your book.
Yeah,
It's a miracle creation, right?
Yes,
Because parallels couple Adam and
and
Eve.
that's
Right.
according to him is how Al-Ghazali would have said it.
So you would say that you are a firm believer of Adamic exceptionalism.
Okay. This is where I have to say, because when I wrote that thesis, yes, because for me, you see, I'm supposed to actually finish my thesis in 2020. This book came out in 2001. It's already my stand then, but I need arguments, and this book came up with that argument. As somebody who was grounded in science, I find the idea of evolution at that time, too convincing. I cannot discard it. But yet it clashes with my, no, can't be. Adam couldn't be from the ape, so how do I answer that? That this book came along, it provided me the argument, so I put it there. Fine. Now you ask me from which camp I am. Okay, this is later. Okay, when I asked for Osman Bakar to do the forward, he said, okay, but you must take up this something. Yes, that's why I said this is revision. When I wrote the thesis, I was into Adamic exclamation. Okay, I have problem pronouncing it. Adamic exceptionalism.
Yeah.
Okay, I subscribe to that. But Prof. Osman said, if you want me to write the forward, I mean being frank, Prof, if you mind, then you must follow our school, which is with Syed Usinas and all that. So I became a Christianist. And I believe that there are arguments, but metaphysical arguments. According to this school, Christianism, Syed Usinas and all that, no evolution at all. And there are actual explanations, but you must go into higher understanding of physics. You have people like Syed Usinas. He was a physics MIT graduate, and he did study of science. Somebody like him, also, and then later with Sufi and all that, who totally discard evolutionism, must have a reason. And I believe in that. Even if I don't totally understand the argument, yeah, but there are actually arguments to that. But you must go into another level of knowledge, not just empirical positivism. Okay, that's my answer to that.
I think Professor Osman would like to say something to that.
No, yes, I have to make clarification now. Yeah, and this is important for the younger people, the students. I mean, the students who are doing PhDs and so on. It's regarding my own philosophy about the relationship between supervisor and the student. I believe in the philosophy that I don't have to agree everything with the student's thesis in order to pass him. And there are issues in his thesis which I don't agree. But what I'm looking for is good arguments, how he defends his thesis. It's how you defend your thesis. A supervisor does not have to agree with everything that a student's write. I know some supervisors do insist. Otherwise, they will not do it properly. Yeah? So to tell you, I mean, one issue, of course, is a question of what you call academic exceptionalism. Right? I don't agree. I don't agree that when it comes to evolution, Adam is a special case, is a creation, special creation, and the rest of the creatures are not by creation. In other words, I don't accept that. Because if God can create Adam, a kind of special creation, so also he can create all the other creatures in a same manner. In other words, explosion of the species, emerge at the same time in different places. It's not not according to the narrative that you have in science. So in fact, I wrote a book, Critique of Evolutionary Theory, a collection of essays, published in 1987. In 1987. So that book certainly will not accept what you call academic exceptionalism. In other words, God creates. There is another theory actually, the explosion of species, the theory of explosion of species, not according to just from one, you must another one, and something, I mean, that is making God very, very a small God. I mean, it's just, yeah. So I think that is important. So I told him, yes, for a thesis to be, you want to write thesis, thesis to start, purely for the academic community in university. Fine, you go to the you go to the you go to the library, and then you find his thesis. But I will not write a preface to your book. If I were to I said, I will criticize. Do you want me to criticize your book in my forward? If you accept that, then I will do it. All right. So, all right. Yeah. No, this is a scholarship. Yeah. People don't appreciate this. My supervisor, Said Hussain Nasser, he wrote a book called Science and Civilization in Islam. Science and Civilization in Islam. All right. He invited whom? He invited one of his teachers, one of his lecturers, this George Santayana. Yeah, she supervised. They were both at MIT. Yeah. You see how George Santayana criticized Nasser, but Nasser accepts it. I did. Yeah. Nasser asked his teacher to survive, to write a forward to his book, but his teacher doesn't agree, criticize, right? So, but I said, fine, I accept your criticism. But very few can do that. But that is real academic. Yeah, I wish. I mean, we do have that. I just want to clarify that.
Thank you, Prof. Osman. This is very true because I think khilaf is actually a great blessing within the Ummah. So I think this could also be extended to our conversation on supervising students and having different opinions and viewpoints. Any further questions? Oh yes, Dr. Musa.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I don't know where to start, but I'll just say a few things. First, I think there was a misunderstanding about this anthropology, about the human existence in this world. Because if you look at the newest records, especially articles written and published in Nature, Nature journal is considered in the scientific community as Sahih Bukhari to us, right? In the scientific Bukhari, that's the the best journal. In Nature, it was stated that the modern man, they have traced it back to the mitochondria. It's not the carbon dating as you mentioned just now. It was about mitochondria, right? Human mitochondria. They call it the L0, the mitochondria, and they found that the first human genome, this mitochondria, was, they call it Eve, the Eve mitochondria, right? they name it as that. And they mentioned that it was, it was dated back to about 200,000 years ago. And that was modern human. And before that, they were what we call as our cousins, as the Neanderthals, who existed about 400,000 years ago. And even if we look at the Quran itself, the Quran, like what the verses you recited just now, Brother Arif, basically it was saying that about God wanted to create Adam as a Khalif in this world, right? And subsequent to that verse, the angels ask, why do you want to create this species that would shed blood, right? It was clear in the Quran. If you read Hamka, Tafsir Al-Azhar by Hamka, he says, how did these angels, how did they know that these Adams, which shed blood on earth? So Hamka was saying that it means that there were many Adams before that Adam, meaning to say that in modern parlance, right? They are the Neanderthals. These Adams, the precursor of the modern Adam, they were the Neanderthals, right? Those who they had shed blood on earth. And I think there was no, how do I say, we could reconcile between Quran and science based on that. Because there is, you mentioned so many times about what Adam being sent to earth and things like that. There was nothing in the Quran about that. Adam was not created in heaven and being sent down to earth. It was not even mentioned that Adam was created on earth or created in heaven. This was what we call mutashabihat, right? Mutashabihat. No verses. Can you cite one verse in the Quran that says that Adam was created in heaven? No, there was not even a single verse about that, right? So meaning to say that if we understand this, then we will know that modern Adam, right, probably existed on earth, right? It was created on earth, and that was where they found this, I call you the L0, the mitochondrial, the Eve mitochondria, yeah, in that. And surprisingly, the Quran, like Brother Saima mentioned about this gender thing and stuff, the Quran was basically silent about whether Adam was created first or Eve was created first. So, in fact, the Quran says in Surah An-Nisa, the first verse, Ya ayuhan nas suttaqu rabbukum allazi khalaqakum min nafsin wahidah wa khalaqa minha zawjaha wa khalaqna وخلق منها زوجها وبثت منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. Meaning to say that the Quran says that, oh man, be conscious of God, who had created mankind from a single soul. Min nafsin wahidah, a single soul. It didn't say it was created from Adam. The idea that that man was created from Adam and Eve from the rib, Adam's rib, was from Deuteronomy, was from the biblical understanding. There was nothing in the Quran about that. Min nafsin wahida wa khalaqa minha zawjaha. And he created from minha. Minha means that the soul, that single soul, the dhamir was what feminine dhamir, yeah, minha, because nafs has a feminine dhamir. Minha zawjaha, a spouse out of it. What? And after that, he created from these two. وبث منهما كثيرا وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. And from this, he created multitudes of men and women, right? So I think we can reconcile between science and the Quran.
We can.
We can
yes.
reconcile between the two.
Yes.
It is not that we can't reconcile. And we don't need that, you know, your theory about the time linear and stuff like that. We don't need that.
No, I think is a very interesting point you made, Dr. Musa, because I encountered a text about how this idea of Eve coming from Adam alayhi salam's ribs is actually it's a Christian narrative, right? So it doesn't actually come from an Islamic viewpoint. I think scholars like Zibamir Husseini and other feminist approaches to Islam, thinkers from the feminist perspective, they also highlight that this point is used by many Muslims, unfortunately, to justify certain sentiments toward women. But yeah, now I look forward to Brother Razi's rebuttal, as it were.
I think simple to say response. I wouldn't say rebut. Okay. First of all, have you read the book? Have you read the book? No. Yes. No. Okay. Let me show you 206. Yeah. Here, yeah. Because
I your presentation,
I mentioned the book. I want to show you.
yeah, your presentation, I think the best way to present, a professional way, is to prepare PowerPoints and not to scroll down the content of your book.
It is okay. It's okay. I can go. It's in response. Let me respond. Okay. This is 199. I have to find page 206.
Lain orang, lain caranya, Doktor. Lain
Yes.
cara, lain cara.
Yes. Okay. The thing you mentioned, yeah. Let me share first. Share screen.
You said Deuteronomy.
No, first you talk about mitochondria. There's a subchapter on it. Enter the mitochondrial Eve. So I put that study. I entered a study that according to genetic study, based on the mitochondria, I even define what is a mitochondria DNA, mtDNA, and nucleus DNA. I put a lot of stuff over there. I can't explain everything. There's so much thing over here. I can't, because I'm trying to tell everything under 15 minutes. You understand that? This needs a whole lecture, 2 hours actually, at least. So yes, you mentioned first, enter this mitochondria. I've already put it in my study. It's already considered that. And then you talk about the verse that implies there were other types of mankind. Okay. I also have considered that. I put under Sheikh Nazim. Yeah, I could. Yeah, so I think whoever knows the Haqqani, they should know this. Wait a minute. I have to find. Azir dia punya ni lah. I can't find it because the screen is different there. The screen is blocking me. I'm sorry. Just technical problem because the screen here is blocking what I can find. Okay. This is, I put it here. See, because I also talk about, there's a study, local study by Prof. Mokhtar Saidin, announced in 2000, I put it actually in my text, but I can't remember, 2011, 2012, that they found an X in the Legong Valley. And carbon dating shows that it is 1.83 million years old. I was asked to address that. How do you reconcile that with the Adam not more than 10,000 years ago. So I put that. Yeah. This clearly goes, okay, let me read it. As alluded to earlier, some scientists have advanced claims that humans have existed in the Lenggong Valley in Perak as early as 1.83 million years ago. This clearly goes against the narrative of Adam alayhi salam appearance on Earth not more than 10,000 years ago, as put forward by some religious scholars. I'm not in a very comfortable economic position right now, you understand? This should be somewhere here. And I'm looking here. Okay. Perhaps they were descendants of earlier Adams. This refers to earlier type of human beings before calling Adam. The existence of this Adam before Adam has been expounded by some religious masters. It is said to be implied by a verse in the Quran and mentioned of Muhammad when your Lord said to the angels, "Indeed, I will make upon the earth successive authority." They said, "Will you place upon it one who causes corruption, their end, and sheds blood, while we declare your praise and sanctity?" Allah said, "Indeed, I know which you do not." So I have considered this. But at the end of the day, I find that I don't have to go there. I don't have to go. If you look at my chapters, there's Homo erectus, Homo needs, the history of it is all there. Yes, it's covered. It is already covered. It is already covered. But I find that I don't have to go there. I find that I can always, because my main point is to be able to equate Adam with Homo sapien. I mentioned about Homo erectus, but I don't have to go there. Otherwise, the study goes wavy, you know. Yeah, I'm going to shoot here, shoot there. Like Shazani mentioned about, I've covered it in my original writing. But there's so much I can put in the thesis. I can put it. It's already there in my original writing. But for presentation, something has to be edited out. I've already considered all that you said. That's my response.
I think you consider everything, perhaps, but I think it was not relate to us. You know, your ideas, you did not manage to condense it and to present it to us. Right. I think more importantly, you are trying to talk about the linear time and
Yes.
which I think is irrelevant.
It is very relevant to me. Is it very relevant to some people?
Yeah, I mean,
I think you take a biological stand.
How do you want to reconcile between science and your ideas of this?
Okay, first of all, I must ask you then. To you, Adam, is he a person, Adam, or is it an Adam representing a symbolic understanding? Adam is mankind in general. What is your understanding? What is your understanding? I ask you now.
Okay,
You have to answer me first. Then I can respond. Because I must really know where you come from.
the thing is that
Yes, seriously. Because
Yeah,
this
but I
has
haven't
been
answered.
considered. Is my study considered?
you
Okay.
want me to answer or you don't want me to
Yeah.
answer?
Okay.
But because you keep on talking, right? I can answer because you keep on talking.
Okay, go on.
The thing is that the Quran says when he wanted to create Adam, what I was saying is that Adam was the first modern man being created, right?
Okay.
So it is not what were this Brother Shazli was talking about this what do you call a historical Adam or not?
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And he's the first person being created, and that's the idea is that the concept is that by showing that Adam, what you call fall from grace together with Eve, was simply because the maturity of the ability for them when God says, okay, do not go to near this tree, right?
Okay.
Tree, which nobody knows what it means, right? It is as well. Meaning to say that they develop the ability not to obey God, right? And in order for them to discern between the what is true and what is not true, what is false, right? It develops their consciousness. It develops them the ability to discern, and that makes them human.
Okay.
And I think that is the most important thing for us to understand.
Okay.
And it differentiates between malaikat and all the other things because malaikat, the angels, they only follow God's orders.
Okay.
But men, we have the ability of free will to either to choose to obey or disobey, and that makes us human, and that makes Adam the first human.
I agree. No problem with that.
Actually, I think we can still go on, right? Dr. Ain, what do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking about-
I think, the debate of Brother Razi is talking about time, time in the, what do you call it, the linear, the mathematical way. We're looking how creation in this world, we're looking because time in how do you say? There's two ways of looking into time. One is looking in the science and in the linear way, but one one way of looking time is looking, it doesn't have like a start and a beginning. God created, God is in the beginning, it creates, in a circular way. So it doesn't have a beginning and an end. So it's different ways of how time is interpreted. And I think Brother Razi is looking in this way. He wants to find evidence based on time, on linear. So there's a beginning and an end. But in a sophistic way, such as Said Hussein Nas, he looks time as a circle, something circular. So God is in the beginning and he creates, and then there's no meaning of time, it's different. We are in this world, we interpret time through the context of, 1, 2, 3, there's a beginning and the end. But in a different way, we look at the metaphysical way, there's no end and the beginning. So we can actually understand that, in both ways. So there's there's no problem with that. Keep going.
It's a very fair point, Dr. Ain. I think it's also.
Shall I demonstrate?
You wanna-
Shall I demonstrate the thought that I have in mind?
I think
Regarding time?
maybe we can, but we will also take maybe one or two more questions, perhaps from the students.
Yeah.
It's okay. We can go. I mean, if anyone has to leave, you can. But we will continue, inshallah, the discussion. Bismillah. Perkenalkan diri, inshallah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Muhammad Wais bin Muhyiddin. So I'm from a school called named Sekolah Islam Nur Al Azhar. And so I'd like to share like an opinion, or I would like to ask for your opinion. So in the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah said, the angel said, قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ويسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك. صدق الله العظيم. So in this discussion, so the angels, how does the angels know that there is a creation or Adam that would destroy this world, that would make messes in this world? So meaning to say that the angels know there was a creation before Adam. All right, so there was a creation before Adam. So why don't we just say that there is a creation before Adam, like it has a shape of Adam, but not Adam. It's not Prophet Adam. So can we protect the statement that there is no Adams? It's just Adam.
I think you missed my point just now. I spoke at the length about that, right?
Okay, yeah, let me speak first. All right. So so to protect the statement that there's only Adam, why don't we just say that there was a creation before Adam? Because the angels know there was a creation before Adam, because they qalu ataj'alu fiha man yufsidu fiha. That means they know there was a creation before Adam, but it's not Adam. So it's just to say that the Prophet Adam alayhi salam is the first Adam, and is a human. And there is a creation before, but it's not Adam. It's just like Adam. We could just say, so maybe there's let's just say Prophet Adam is just like maybe like 10,000 years old.
Yes.
And then we find a fossil that's around maybe 1.5 million years old.
Actually,
So what-
for the sake of time, sorry to
Alright.
interject. I think actually Dr. Musa pointed out quite extensively earlier on.
Alright.
But if you want to speak with Dr. Musa or Brother Razi after this, it is very much possible.
Alright,
So
alright.
your point is taken, and we appreciate that you
thank you
made
very
that point. Thank you. Yes, Bismillah.
Assalamualaikum. Okay, let me respond to that. I did mention about the same verse. Okay, there are different opinions. Yeah, somebody said there are people who say the creatures that the angel saw was jinns. But then again, the word is these creatures shed blood. Whereas as far as I know, jinns don't shed blood because they are made from different elements. So that means they have a carbon-based body like humans. Okay, so on that, this is my footnote. For example, the Sufi master Ibn Arabi had said there is no less than 100,000 Adams in his famous treatise, the Futuhat al-Makkiyah. So did contemporary scholars like the late Sheikh Nazim Haqqani and his deputy Sheikh Hisham Kabani, both the grandmasters of National Haqqani. So yes, there are people who believe there are the creatures, yes, which explains Homo erectus and all that, but that is not the main concern of my thesis because I have to concentrate on one area. My concern is to show that Adam can be equated to the first Homo sapiens. So, on that note, shall I demonstrate my calculation?
Yes. But please be brief.
How many minutes do I have?
How many minutes are time? 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Bismillah.
Yeah, we cannot hear. We cannot hear the discussion.
First of all, what is the hadith that you're quoting? Second, hadith is sunni. Something is sunni cannot be accepted as either scientific or truth. The truth.
This is a philosophical study. That's my answer to that. That means that I am offering ideas. People can explore it more. If you don't agree with this, find another one. But this is my answer to that question. Otherwise, the other answer is this. There must be some more between Adam and Noah. There must be some few names in order for you to fit. Oh, no. Homo sapiens cannot be equated with Adam. That means Homo sapiens 100 years ago, there's somebody else, then only this Adam from some Homo sapiens. That is not the first Homo sapiens. Understand? That's the only other solutions. If I want to equate Homo sapiens, not other Homo erectus, not Homo neanderthal, then this is my solution. Maybe you have another solution, I don't know, but this is my thesis.
If anything, this discussion has opened up different ways of looking at things. I think this is why we have to read the book. We have to get the book. And you know, I don't want to close the session. Actually, I'm really engaged right now. But we can maybe limitation of time. Yeah. Prof Murad, Bismillah, and then brother.
There's a tiny one. In recent years, I think just a tiny point. In recent years, there's another category in terms of classifying men's existence. Yeah, yeah. No, before Homo sapien, Neanderthal, and so on. You have Homo sapien, and then you have Homo sapien sapien. I think you have to consider that too, because this is a category that has been mentioned over the years.
You know, the I don't know if you've seen this book by Yuval Noah Harari, Homo Sapiens, and to be honest, I think it's garbage. Sorry to say, but you know, I mean, his ideas perhaps and in making those points are relevant, but you know, because he is in cahoots with Klaus Schwab, this might seem like a conspiracy theory, but he is very much for the depopulation of the earth. But yeah, on your point on Homo sapiens sapiens, there you go.
It has been considered.
Yes.
It has been taken into account. Homo sapiens sapiens is a later definition. Yeah, it's an academic definition because under this definition, Homo sapiens also includes some primates. Yeah, so they want to differentiate mankind from the others, Homo sapiens. But I go back to the etymology. Original use of the word Homo sapien by Carlos Linnaeus in 1758 when he made his taxonomical classification. The original is Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens sapiens is a later invention. So I go back to the etymology. Original usage of the word Homo sapiens, which is the Latin word for the wise man.
Brother, please introduce yourself.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Nizal. I'm no academic. I'm just an enthusiast. So I have two questions. One is that can this non-linearity of time, can we also extend it to non-linearity of space as well, considering the hadith of Adam being 30 meters tall? So that's one question. Second question is this non-linearity of time, does it still abide by the arrow of time? Or can we consider like extra dimensionality of time such that the Malaika observation of a human shedding blood can be considered because they have some kind of meta awareness of our future. They can see into our dimension future that we are shedding blood. So they asking that. Okay.
Actually, there's also that interpretation by some ulama that when the angels said, are you going to make this creature who shed blood and create destruction on earth as Khalifa? Some people said because the angel is foreseeing the future. Yes, there is that opinion. But when it comes to my own calculation, I don't go there. This linear is still within arrow of time. Yeah? When you mentioned about non-linear space, there's also the possibility. But first of all, I must ask you, do you believe there's possibility of time dilation? Do you understand the concept, time dilation? Understand, yeah? Have you heard the word time dilation? Okay, I also mentioned this in my thesis. Although I don't have proof, but I give examples that it can happen due to two theories of Einstein. One is the special theory of relativity. If you go at a very fast speed, time will move slower for you. Yes? He gave this thought, I wouldn't say thought experiment, just some idea. Imagine two twins. One stay on Earth, one goes to space, going at the speed close to speed of light, not speed of light, close. Yeah. After 20 years on Earth, that person returned. He aged only 10 years. This person aged 20 years. Because time to him is slower. That is because of speed. Another is under general theory of relativity. If you are close to a heavy gravity, time runs slower for you. Have you heard about the movie called Interstellar? Interstellar, yeah? He went to this planet Miller, which is close to a black hole. 1 hour over there is 7 years on Earth. And this has scientific validity, although there's no such claim, they haven't found it, but they even wrote a full journal paper on that, how the physics works. So the idea, yes, it is possible. But does it happen that way? I don't know. I'm saying the possibility is there.
The second question on whether the angels knew of it's like a firasa.
I answered that one first. I answered that.
Okay.
When I said that, yes, there are some ulama who said probably the angel saw the future. I really don't know.
Sir.
I don't know the answer to that.
Got it.
Yes.
That was the second
Good
question.
question, but I answered that one first. Everything is tall.
Sorry, that was the first one, was it? First one.
Okay, okay. This is the thing, you know. I believe that when okay, suppose Dr. Musa, yeah, when you said that Adam was whoever is vanished from, because it seems to me that when you don't think it's somewhere, it's a different dimension. I believe in that. I believe that Adam was somewhere, that paradise, you know, because in for the Christians, they even say this Eden in the east. It's an earthly paradise. But as far as I know, as far as I know, most Muslims say it is somewhere. It's paradise on a different dimension, on different heaven. It's not on earth. So he was sent down. Time up there works differently. It is said that I don't know if this is the same, but time with God, one day is 1,000 years of your years. There is that in the Quran. I don't remember the exact. And then there's also this in Surah Ma'arij, where it said there's a some point at some place where the malaikat went up and down, and one day is 50,000 of years. So I don't know which one, but it shows that there are time differences. Yeah. So Adam come from a different dimension, which I don't know. It's probably, of course, a different time zone, a different time rate. Okay. The thing is, when they say that Adam is 60 hasta or 60 cubits, yeah, I really don't know. My own thinking, he was 60 cubits up there, but when he went down to earth, he sort of shrink to the normal size. That is my idea. It's like you know what? You know alam, the word alam. You want to explain alam, yeah? Alam ilmu. Imagine virtual world inside your computer. In order for you to experience the virtual is all data. That's ilmu. You want to experience the alam, you go inside, you have to take a body inside there. Otherwise, you can't experience it. You can experience from outside. You know, like a ghost seeing, but you cannot participate. And God participated. In order to experience that alam, you must take a body inside there. So this Adam from that and transfer, I believe that actually he shrunk along the way. That's my belief, my own personal belief. I don't know about others. So I don't think he went 60 after on earth. He went to normal size somewhere. Probably 6 foot, 7 foot, I don't know. But there are, of course, people of joint bodies, I don't know. There's so many things that we read in myth and all that, which is not accepted by science. But personally, having experienced some mystical things, I believe so. These things do exist.
I just 1 minute.
Okay.
I just want to say that there are two things here. I think I do not agree with your ideas on both. First, that Adam was scattered in heaven.
Okay.
And because in the Quran, as I said earlier on, you cannot find anything anywhere that Adam was scattered in heaven. It was only said in Surah Al-A'raf about the story of Adam and Eve at that time. It seems that, you know, the idea is that they felt a bliss because at that time there was no real, how do I say, conscience. There's no real conscience. They don't understand what is right, what is wrong, right? And because of that, the feeling of blissfulness as if you are living in heaven, because you don't know what is right and what is wrong. As if you are living in heaven. So that's the whole idea, and that's the way why I said the development of the consciousness of Adam and Eve created them to become humans. That's the first thing. Second thing was what you mentioned just now about this 50 feet or whatever. You cannot find anywhere in the Quran. Why do we believe in that? And we cannot believe in such hadith. These are all Israeliyat. Israeliyat means that it doesn't come from the Quranic source.
That's a very fair point.
Yeah.
Prof. Osman?
Um, well, I think after listening to the various points of view, there are still other points of view that have been accepted in Islamic tradition, but we forget. In other words, we exclude some other interpretations, right? Precisely regarding what you mean by paradise, heaven, and so on. One interpretation, well, I mean, Adam and Eve were in heaven here on earth. Physically, there were human beings on earth. This was the beginning when there was. So when the Quran refers, this, I'm sorry, I say this one interpretation. So when Adam and Eve were created as husband and wife, they live in a state of bliss, heaven, in the sense their consciousness. They live with God in their consciousness. There was nothing outside God. There's nothing outside God. It is only when we're referring to the role of Satan wants to take them out. It's in the same surah, all the same, but different interpretation. That's all. Yeah, different interpretation from what Dr. Musa is giving. That Dr. Musa is one. That's one interpretation among some scholars. But there are other interpretation. So there is this interpretation. In other words, they were in a state of, in the sense of God consciousness, state of God consciousness. There was no other outside God. But then this another Eve, in a sense, want to show that no, there's something. Come and examine something outside God. So that outside God, that's what they call the فَأَزَلْهُمَا الشَّيْطَانُ عَنْهَا and huma. Try to slide, and it's all this symbolic. You know, it's symbolic. You have to understand that. Symbolic is basically it's about psychological, about the state of consciousness of Adam. Yeah. And of course, that was also that also the Tawhid conscious, but basically it is God consciousness. So, but then Adam returned. God turned to Adam. That Tawbah, the return to that. In how to get back, back Adam and Eve to that state of original consciousness. And that's precisely that's what our struggle here on earth. Yeah, Adam wants to show another world, and that but God wants to know this is another, my way. This is the way. So I think it is not question here about going to some space somewhere imaginary. No, it's not. It's here on earth. Here about talking everything here on earth. But on earth we can have different states of consciousness. Now we are the Adamic consciousness, basically. The Adamic consciousness, that consciousness of you live in God, not live outside God. That's basically that's it. That is the other interpretation favored by the Sufis. But I am inclined personally to that interpretation. In other words, basically two options, two alternatives: to live in God or to live outside God.
Thank you, Professor Osman. This reminded me also of perhaps on a different trajectory, the idea that some people might make the claim that Iblis was a true monotheist because he didn't want to bow down to Adam alayhi salam because he said that I only bow down to you and to Rob. I mean, some people have made this argument. I don't know if anyone has heard about this, the fact that so it's very interesting, although perhaps not really feasible in our Islamic paradigm. Because there's the element of arrogance as well. I'm made for fire, and Adam alayhi salam is from clay.
What set of verses in that Surah Baqarah? Not just one verse, not just referring to the first verse, but look, I think it's 9 or 10 more verses. The dialogue between. You need to put the dialogue in Adam and the angel and Satan, all that must take that together and come up with a holistic interpretation. How to get that unity view? There's no contradiction in those verses. How to understand those verses without any contradiction? That is the challenge for us.
Bismillah, Doctor. Oh, just an answer to that. My brother there from students. I think you have very interesting statements when you read the Quran, Baqarah verses 30. I hope you can read the next two verses, verses 32. Qalu subha bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qalu subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana. Yeah. Illa ma 'allamtana. It means that we cannot make an interpretations or maybe a fallacy that the malaika know everything, because they already agreed. You know, when Allah says in the 31st verses, anbi'uni bi asma'i haula in kuntum sadiqin qalu subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana. It means that, right, they do not know what they don't been ilm by Allah. Means if Allah don't let them know, let them understand, they don't know. So they just realize actually they foresee something what actually they don't know. It means that there are some interpretations that not everything we assume that the malaikat would know, because all this while we assume malaikat will automatically know everything. You know, then so as a malaikat asks God, what you will have to do in the future, because I know. You know, it seems that the common understanding is that you assume that the malaikat know everything. By right, the malaikat already say here, I only know illa ma'lamta. I only know what you told us. If you don't tell us, I don't know. So it means malaikat already answered these questions. But we keep asking this question so many times. I mean, the people always ask, you know, argue about the ayah, the verses 30, only based on that ayah. But in the Quran, it says it's been answered there. You only need to read the next two verses, then you understand that the malaikat does not know anything unless God told them what they have to know. It means that there is limitations of the malaikat. Malaikat is not God. So God knows everything. And when God asked Adam, tell us everything. So it means that Allah already told Adam things more than what the malaikat has to know. Yeah, I try to answer that question for all the brothers from the students, so that you will not only subject your questions to the first verses without reading the following verses. I think Prof. Osman mentions that there is an conversations, you know, between God and Adam. Second things that I want to share with you is this. I think I've heard about Brother Razi since 2018. I think you wrote the first book. I think we have one seminar here on this, and I think congratulations that you have now putting more argument and you have found the what do you call it, the underlying scientific measures. But we have to understand one thing. When we measure time, we have to understand that Allah created time. In Quran, in Hadith, so many times Allah mentioned, and the Prophet answered the same questions. Now, this question not been asked only today, you know, been asked 1,000 years ago, and I think since Adam that the human always ask, you know, what happened between the difference between us and Allah? Allah is not subject to time. Allah created time. If Allah remove time from us now, just imagine Allah remove time from us now, what will happen to us? We will not free. We are not here. We are not existence. Correct? Without the time, are we exist? Do we exist? We don't exist. So, if we can understand why in Aqidah, I think Barazim mentioned about Tawhidic approach, when he believed that Allah is not jism, is not subject to time, so you clearly identify the differential between our line or understanding of knowledge or our understanding of how we differentiate science. The science subject to time. All the scientific measures subject to empirical evidence, which is subject to time. Without the time, there's no such thing as empirical evidence. If you remove time and you confuse time between the creation of Allah and Allah itself, then you actually mix between Allah and the time we created, and of course the after time, you know. Everything after time is creations. So if we can differentiate between who created time, then we can answer all these questions that we've been delivering. I think that is my points. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Brother Razi would like to respond to what Prof. Osman mentioned. Maybe just a short one. Yeah.
Prof, I would like to extend, but first, regarding time, I can say that my intent is to continue my PhD study as soon, inshallah, will be on time. Serious, inshallah. Okay. Yes, I intend to. I intend to explore more the idea. Okay.
How to tell to the in front of the others about when you wrote the thesis, you know. There is one thing, one premise that you make. You do not want to quarrel with the religious scholars, okay? You do not want to quarrel with Naqib and Atas, okay? So, in other words, you do not want to argue against the assumption that the oldest, or rather the Adam came into being on Earth less than 10,000 years ago. Okay, I mean, you were not brave enough, courageous enough to ask that. I mean, what is it? What are the sources? What are the sources used by these religious scholars? It's not in the Quran. It's not in the Hadith. Okay, so where do they get? From other sources, from the Christian sources, the biblical sources. Because I look at another hadith. According to the hadith, there were 124,000 prophets from Adam alayhi salam until Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 124,000. Even if you take one prophet per year, already 124,000 years. All right? It cannot be one per year. That's too much for you know. It must be. So in other words, if you talking about time, so it could be that 124,000 prophets together will consume time about 200,000 years or even more. Yeah, but I ask you do not want to do that one. You know, it's as if that you assume that the religious scholars are right, but now you try to interpret the difference between the two times, the biblical time and the scientific time, or the geological time. You know? Yeah, I want to tell Tirol that he does not want to quarrel with the religious scholars.
Yes, because I did quote Syed Naqib Al-Atas, and I put his calculation as he put it in the book on nature and justice. On what? Justice on nature, nature, justice of man. So it is in, I quote in my book. Okay, regarding the 124,000 prophet, I did mention that also in my book. But I mentioned that not to argue about the time. I want to say that there's so many other faiths also receiving their messengers. Okay, regarding timeline, if you see, let's say during the time of Prophet Abraham, they also exist during his time, Prophet Isaac and Ismail. And later from there, Yaqub. And then during time Yusuf. So doesn't mean one after one sequentially, 120,000. It could be at one time, there's so many prophets at different areas. So if you want to put that way, then there could be like even 1,000 prophets all over the face of earth at one time, at one point in history. I don't know. There's also so many possibilities. But I wish to extend a bit on what Prof. Osman said about the Adamic consciousness. Okay, this is also something I learned from some Kampong Sufi people. You know, because I've been traveling and missing all that. If you look at the universe we are living right now, okay, we have problems, we think this is problem and all that. But yet you study, they say, no, but God is all-knowing. God made everything perfect. This is perfect, the story is perfect. How come I'm seeing imperfection? Is imperfection in the creation or imperfection in my eyes? You know? So if you can shift your consciousness to be able to see, you know, it's like this. I give you an example. Imagine, you know, imagine, this is just imaginary, yeah, scenario, yeah. Our soul up there before coming down to earth. You know, I like to think our soul is like an artist. You know, artist, you give a good script, you want to play, to act a good script. Okay, let's say I give you a script. Okay, in the script, you are going to be born, rich, healthy, everything. You are going to be happy, 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 happy. That's it. As an artist, I would say, what kind of crap script is this? Seriously, as an artist, where is the challenge? Where is all that? You know, so that's how an artist would see things. So it's like, okay, God shows me the script. Oh, this is the struggle and all that. From up there, from this consciousness, oh, perfect. I agree. I went down and forgot everything. And then I went to struggle. Yeah. So from my understanding, if you understand that this is perfect, but the imperfection only lies in our consciousness. If we can adjust and reach, we can reach a blissful state, although outside, on the external, I'm having problem, everybody's problem, but actually, no, this is perfect. Then perhaps you have reached back the heavenly state. So for some people, they say, no, you don't have to wait for heaven after you die. That heaven can happen right now, but you have to shift your state of consciousness. That's my, just extending on that idea, bro. Yes, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. You know, Sister Saima is pointing to the time. So we're all in time. Yeah.
Okay.
And on that point, is it okay if I recite some Shakespeare? Because on time. Yeah. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our players have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. This lies but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard of no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. So with that, I would like to thank everyone present here today, and our brother Razi, our sister Saima, and also brother Shazani, all the way in Sarawak. Thank you very much. Terima kasih, and hopefully this is not the last time that we'll meet each other, and we will meet in a later time, inshallah.
Group photo.
Group picture. We will have a group picture.
Okay, if